Welcome to the Encore Audio Archives YouTube channel. I'm Taper Dave, and this is my channel. I've uploaded hundreds of talks here that I've recorded at meetings in West LA, and I've also recorded conventions starting in 2013. I've got a bunch of those up. And Walt and Mary Murray, the original owners of Encore Audio Archives, started the company in the 80s, and Walt recorded Joe and Charlie's and a bunch of stuff down in Vista, California. My sobriety date is June 20th of 1994. I hope you find something you like, so please like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below. If you want to hear something that I don't have or that you don't see, I'll see that I get it. Anyways, take care and have a great day if you want to.
Our second 10-minute speaker is Frank H.
Hi, my name's Frank Hanna. I'm an alcoholic. And I'm very happy to be here tonight. And I say that because that didn't used to be the case. When I first came around to Alcoholics Anonymous, it was the last place in the world I wanted to be. My first resentment to get over was the fact that I was an alcoholic. I knew it. I'd known it for about as long as I drank, almost 20 years. There was something about the way I drank that wasn't like the way other people drank. I'd drink just like I was dying of thirst and guzzle the stuff down and pass out and throw up and act stupid and get in trouble and then wonder what in the world happened last night. And I couldn't understand it. And when I came here, however, it was no surprise that I had an alcohol problem, but it was a very depressing, resentment-filled kind of thing that I had to do something about it, because I didn't know what else to do. All my life, my earliest memories, I was born in some kind of a strange ranch up in Montana someplace, and I never saw anybody but my mother and father and brother and sister till I was 4, and then the older two got a divorce, and the mother and father of the 4 that I mentioned. And we moved into town. That's kind of complicated. My mother and I and my sister moved into town. They threw my brother away someplace, and I didn't see him again for 10 years. But I found out there were other people in the world, and right away I was different. I couldn't understand it. I'd look around, and all these kids all knew each other, and they all knew how to act. They all knew what to say and what to wear and how to say hi and talk to each other and what side of the street to walk on, where the bathroom at school was, for Christ's sake. And I didn't. And I couldn't understand how they seemed to know automatically what to do. And I'd stand over in a corner with my tears in my little eyes and my heart up here, and I'd look around and just, well, you don't know what it was like, man. And I wandered around. I could not understand what was going on, and I felt bad. I felt like somehow they were better than I was. And somewhere along the line I found out that I couldn't, no matter what I did, I couldn't fit into the kids. I'd act tough and then I'd get beat up all the time, so that didn't work. So I'd act real good, and that didn't work because the kids didn't like me, but the teachers did. And I decided that was better than nothing. So I became a kind of, I don't know, teacher's pet or something. But, I was the kid that had the answers. And I managed to get along in school pretty well. I found some acceptance, some success, at least with the teachers. The kids all hated me, but I was used to that. And I wandered around. My mother was a kind of traveler. I used to think she was a runner, and that's where I got my ability to cut out when the going got tough. But she was pursuing a dream, I found out recently. But my sister and I kind of grew up in the front of this old Buick, and we traveled all over the country. And we stayed in one place for 6 months or a year, and I'd go to school, and I wouldn't fit in, and I'd have fights, and I'd get run out, and we'd leave, and that was great. Boy, I'd love to get up and go, because no matter what happened, if the heat was on, I could just cut out. And it was great because my mother cut out and we cut out with her. And that was, I knew I wasn't ever going to have to stay in any one place for very long. And somewhere along the line, I got a little older and I discovered alcohol. And it was not like I've heard a lot of AA stories. It was I was a budding scientist after all. You don't just take a drink. I wanted to see what it was like to be drunk. I was about 14. I drank from that point on till I was, from 14 or 15 until I was 35. And it was a weekend trip. Now this is a kid that's never had a drink before. It was a weekend trip into the desert with an organized group, and I bought a quart, or somehow, I don't know how I got it, I can't remember, but I had a quart of black and white scotch for me, for one night, because I wanted to get drunk, and I did. And I drank it, all of it, and I blacked out, and I threw up, and I did some destructive things, and I was belligerent, and I defied authority. But at the same time, I wanted all these authority figures to approve of me, and that puts you in kind of a bind when you do things like that. So the next day I felt bad, and of course I was just hung over something fierce, but I felt bad because they told me I had done things that I wouldn't normally do, and I wanted these people to like me. They were like the teachers. The kids all hated me, but I was used to it. The teachers I wanted to please. Well, when I got drunk, I didn't please the teachers because I would do bad things and break windows and set fire to tents and things like that. It's hard to get approval when you do that. But there was a brief moment when I took the first few drinks that somehow made all the difference in the world. It changed everybody else. It changed enough so that I felt like it's okay. And I never forgot that. And I didn't drink every day when I was 14 or 15. I don't think anybody really does. And especially when you're trying to get good grades and please all the teachers and your mother. But from that time on, there was never a drink offered to me that I turned down. And there was never a time that this was the last drink. No matter what I did, I wanted one more drink, always. And good heavens, already? I didn't think I was going to get through all this. And even when I was alone in the house, as an example of this compulsion to drink, I would run into the kitchen with my glass and get the bottle of wine or whatever I happened to be drinking that night and pour the glass and take a couple of hits out of the bottle so nobody would see I was getting a little more than just one glass full. And that was when I was alone. I didn't even have to, I could take the damn bottle into the living room if I wanted to. But I through the course of all this, I ran all over the country. When the things got tough, I cut out. And it always looked good. I was always the bright young kid, a new hotshot on the job, and everybody thought, boy, this kid's got potential and he's going to be wonderful, and I'd dazzle them all with my ability to pick up the language real quick or whatever it was, and then in about a year or a year and a half, they'd all start to wonder, well, when's he going to take off, and I just, pretty soon, this isn't it, and I'd quit, or get divorced, or move, or whatever it took to get out of whatever that particular situation was. I'd run, and I've been on the bottom rung of every career ladder in the country almost, and I've lived most of the country. I've lived in North Carolina and Canada and Florida and all over the place. And but it finally got, as all AA pitches get, eventually, the last few years of my drinking, I was drunk for long, long periods of time, several weeks, and I always managed to have a job where I wasn't up front all the time. I'm a teacher in a college by default, I suppose, but that's what I have been doing for some years. And when you only have to wander into class for an hour once every couple of days, you can drink a lot and still manage. You can lean against the blackboard. I fell off the lectern thing at school one time. But the kids didn't know I was drunk. They don't seem to care. But I did have a student who was a member of AA, and he suggested one day that I come around, and my time's up, but a year and a half after that I did manage to get sober, and I found the Pacific Group, and I have a sponsor here now, and I feel like I'm beginning to fit in down here. And if you're new tonight and you have a problem with living that's manifest in alcohol, stay here, don't go away. This is the best deal I ever had. Thank you.
Sorry to interrupt your viewing. Taper Dave here. Just wanted to take a second to ask you to like and subscribe to my channel. Let me know if you like what you're listening. I've got some very good talks here, and this one's a great one. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Tell me what you think. Okay, this is how I prepare my drone for launching. I like to do it inside the cab of my truck so I'm not standing outside in the weather. To install the joysticks for control, up and down, right and left, powered on. I have an Android phone that I use to connect it to the drone with. And it's actually controlled through the iPhone, through an app. Oops, wrong way. It's actually controlled through the iPhone, or through this Android phone, through the app. It's actually controlled through the Android phone, through an app, and you connect it through this short connection right here.
Remote control connected.
Remote control's connected. So I pull out the drone. I have to extend the legs. Long legs extended first, then the short legs. Remove the gimbal protector. Set that aside, then power it on one short burst, then one long burst. I lay it down. So I have to go to calibrate. So the drone's not connected yet. It shows you here as this drone gets disconnected, even though the remote's powered on. So the drone has to establish it's connected. So I go into the app to calibration mode. First I'll calibrate the remote controller. Start calibration. Out, in, oop, out, in, up, down, and then this little wheel is to control the gimbal. So it's calibrated. Go to gimbal calibration, start calibration, and then it calibrates the gimbal. I don't know if that shows up. The gimbal's moving all over the place. Changes, you can see it on the video. And I'm calibrated to take off. It's acquired 7 satellites at the moment. There are 26 satellites up in the sky, which it has to acquire before you can take off. So it's connected. It's got enough satellites. This is white. I can go to press this little arrow button, swipe right to take off, and it would start the motors if I slid this to the right, but I'll wait till I get outside. Don't want to do it inside.